Hi children, good morning to everyone. Welcome to Gurukul Vidyalaya online classes. Today for the 7th class science subject we are going to discuss the chapter heat. So already two videos we have completed. This is the part 3 video. So in the previous video we have discussed about the laboratory thermometer and about the topic transfer of heat. So could you recall those knowledge? Yes. What is conduction? What is the process for the transfer of heat? In solids, we call it as a conduction that we have discussed. And next one, the material which allow the heat to pass through them is called as conductors. And the materials which will not allow the heat to pass through them, those are called as insulators. And the examples for the both conductors and insulators that we have discussed in the previous video. So now today we are going to discuss about another process of transfer of heat. So already one type of transfer of heat is conduction, and the next one is to understand that, just before we can discuss one activity. Suppose if you take a round bottom flask, you can how it will be, you can see in your page number 42, one round bottom flask we have to take. So that is arranged on a tripod stand. One tripod stand we have to take. On that the round bottom flask is kept and it is placed on the stand, and under the tripod stand one burner will be arranged, and the burner will be in the on position. That means the flame is coming from the burner. So next in the round bottom flask we have to fill some water. The round bottom flask is filled with some water, and potassium permanganate crystals will be added into the round bottom flask. Potassium permanganate, it is a salt with violet or pink colored crystals. So that is placed in the round bottom flask. So after placing like that, just we have to heat by using the burner. The round bottom flask is heated by using the burner. So then what will happen? Slowly the water inside the round bottom flask will be heated up. It starts heating. So whenever it is starting heating, it starts heating. Inside that the crystals of potassium permanganate, slowly they will rise up. That means the heat is going from that area to another sides of the water. So just you can observe in your textbook figure 4.9, what we are observing, that colored crystals they are moving like that. So what is happening, whenever it is heating, the temperature, the transfer of heat takes place. The heat is transferring throughout the liquid in that. So to understand that, one colored crystals it appears to us as they are moving from the center to the other sides of the liquid. Slowly what will happen? When the heat is passing through all the water, the whole water inside the brown bottom flask, when it gets started and whole water will be gets heated up. So then we can say the heat transfer from one place to the other places of the liquid in that round bottom flask. So by this we can say this is one of the mode of heat transfer called as convection. It is called as convection. So here it takes place in the liquids. By this activity we can understand that it takes place in the liquids. So already conduction process takes place in the solids we have discussed. We know that it takes place in the solids, but convection it takes place in the liquids. Not only liquids, it also takes place in the air also. So to understand that, one question here. How does the heat travel in air? In which direction does the smoke go? So those things, answers we can understand, no? The smoke, in which direction it will go? It will go in the upward direction. What about the heat transfer? So to understand that, another more activity we have to discuss here. The air near the heat source gets hot and rises. The air near the heat. Suppose if you light up one candle there, if you put hand surroundings of the candle flame, will we get heat? Will we feel that one? Yes, we will feel. That means the heat transferring in the air around the surrounding of the source of the heat. So that what we are understanding here. So here activity 4.9, you check in your textbook. For this 4.10 one figure is there, no? Transfer of heat by convection in air. Convection in air. So just we have to place one candle on the table. The candle is lighted and one handle should be kept side of the candle and another candle should be kept top of the candle. So if you take one candle like this, if the flame is there, one hand will place here side of the candle and another top of the candle if you place. Then to which hand will feel the heat transfer? So there we can observe it. We notice that towards the top the air gets heated by convection. Towards the top we will get heat, convection. Why? Because the heat rises up in upward direction. And what about the hand above the flame feels hot? So the hand which is above the flame, we feel it is hot. On the sides, however, there is no convection. The air does not feel as hot as the top. So here also somewhat hot our hand will feel. But when compared to the top, here the more heat rises up and here it is less. So the convection takes place here and it is in upward direction. So by this we can understand the convection takes place. That means the mode of heat transfer by convection in liquids it will take place, and in the solid in the gases, that means in the air also it takes place. So by this process in our daily life we will observe one thing. That means the people living in the coastal areas, they will experience an interesting phenomenon. What is that, do you know? So to that one thing we have to understand. During the daytime land gets heated faster than the water. Suppose we are near the beach. The sea is filled with water. Full of water is there in the sea. At the beach area, the land will be there, no? So the water and land. So here in the daytime, during the sun rising time and after the sunrise, the heat falls onto the land and in the same place water. So then the land gets heated more faster than the water. Okay. So what will happen here? Whenever the land gets heated and the water is cool, so the land is hot, water is cool, then what happens here? The land becomes hotter and that heat rises in upward direction. From the land the heat rises and it goes into the seawater. The heat rises and falls into the seawater. Then what happens? The seawater, as it is cool, the cool air comes out to the land. Do you understand, children? If it is sea, it is land. So the hot air, it is going into the sea. The cool, it is coming to the land. Cool air coming to the land. Then it completes the cycle. It completes the cycle. So hot is going into the sea, cool coming to the land. So it completes one cycle there. Okay. So now what is happening? What we have to understand by this, the breeze which is coming from the sea is called as sea breeze. Cool breeze. So daytime the sea breeze we will observe. That means the breeze which is coming from the sea is called as sea breeze. And at the time of night time, it will be completely reversed. That means during the night time what will happen? The water will be heated. So daytime all the heat water, hot air is going into the sea. No? Then what happens? In the sea, the water will be hot. The water will be hot, and the land. What is happening here? This hot, this hot air going to the land. This hot air going to the land. That means it hot air rises and it goes to the land. So down, no need to write like this. You can just understand like this. So now do you understand here? So at the night time, the sea is with hot water, with hot, and land will be cool. So what is happening? The heat, the hot air from the sea at night time, it travels to the land. It goes to the land, and from the land, the cool air goes to the sea. The cool air goes to the sea. So now what is happening? What we call this one? The air, the breeze, which is coming from the land to the sea. So we call it as land breeze. Land breeze. So this is about the convection process, one phenomena which we experience in our daily life. So in 43 page you can observe the pictures there. What we are seeing, daytime from the sea, the cool breeze going to the land. So we call sea breeze. So one house also there. Generally the windows will be faced towards the sea. Why? Because the cool at daytime, the cool breeze will come through from the sea. So we call it as a sea breeze. So under that you can observe that arrow directions. The hot from the land to the sea it is going. That from the sea the cool breeze coming to the land. So that is the sea breeze. And in the right side of that page you can observe the nighttime situation. So nighttime what we are observing, from the land, the cool breeze is going to the sea. So we call it as a land breeze. We call it as a land breeze. So down figure you can observe the direction. So the hot air from the sea it is going to the land, and the cool breeze from the land it is coming to the sea. So it is a land breeze. So keep in your mind, daytime we will get the sea breeze and nighttime we will get the land breeze. So this is the mode of heat transfer due to the convection. Okay children, transfer of heat already we discussed up to now. Conduction. The next one is convection in the liquids and air. Okay. Now when we come out in the sun, we feel warm. When we come out in the sun, we feel warm. How does the heat from the sun reach us? So it cannot reach us by conduction or convection. Can we say here we are how the heat transfer, mode of heat transfer takes place from the sun to the earth? Is it by convection or conduction? Convection or conduction? So both are not correct. The third mode of heat transfer is radiation. Here the third one is radiation. So this mode of heat transfer takes place between the sun and the earth. The heat from the sun, we call it as a radiation. So why? Because there is space between the earth and the sun. So previous mode of heat transfer, conduction and convection, there some medium is there. Solid, liquid, gases, some medium. As a medium they are working there. So that's why it takes place. Here for radiation, whenever there is no medium, the radiation, the mode of heat transfer, radiation takes place. So the transfer of heat by radiation does not require any medium. So it doesn't require any medium. So it can take place whether a medium is present or not. Here if medium is there or not, it is present or not, the radiation takes place. So that's why when we go into the sun, summertime we go out into the sun, we'll feel warm. Our body will be felt warm. Okay. So when we sit in front of a room heater also, So in winter time, in some rooms, heaters will be there. No? In front of that, if you sit, we will get heat. Here, there is no medium between them, but it is taking place. That means it is a radiation. We call it as a radiation. So our body too gives heat to the surroundings and receiving heat from the surrounding. So our body generally gives heat to the surrounding and receives heat from the surroundings by the radiation. So all hot bodies radiate heat. So all hot bodies radiate heat. When this heat falls on some object, a part of it is reflected, a part of it is absorbed, and a part may be transmitted. So do you understand? On every body, if heat radiation takes place, some part will be absorbed, the heat will be absorbed, or it will be reflected, or some will be transmitted. So that's what we have to understand here. So the temperature of the object increases due to the absorption part of the heat. So whenever one object, we are there as a body, we are going outside in the summer. So what is happening? Our body is absorbing the heat. That's why if you touch, we will feel hot. Okay. So whenever it is transmitting or reflecting, we won't feel hot. So that is here. The thing is, we can understand. So that's why what it is advised to take an umbrella when you are going out into the sun. So when we place one umbrella on our head, what is happening? We won't feel that much hot. Why? Because there the heat is reflecting back. The sun's heat is falling on the umbrella. It will be reflected back. So that's why it won't absorb inside. That's why we won't feel that much hot. So this is about the radiation, the mode of heat of transfer, radiation. So next, kinds of clothes we wear in summer and winter. So just we have to understand about the types of clothes we wear in summer and winter. So we know very well what type of clothes we will wear in the winter and in the summer. Generally we will prefer light colored clothes in the summer time and dark colored clothes in the winter time. Why? What is the reason? So to understand that, just one activity. By taking two identical tin cans, two cans we have to take. You can check that in your textbook, figure 4.12. You can observe. One is coated outside with a black color and another is with a white color. So fill some water in both the tins. Place them in the sunlight. After some time, if you bring back those two containers by touching the water inside the container, will you feel the same temperature in both the containers, both the tins? No. The temperatures will be different in both the containers. So which will be having more heat and which water will be less heat? So the container which is coated with a black color, it will be more heat, and the container which is having the light color, white color, that is less heat. Here by this we can understand the dark color will absorb the heat more and white color it won't absorb, it will absorb less and reflects back. So that's why when we place both in the sunlight, whenever the sun rays are falling on the black colored tin, it is absorbing, and inside the tin the water also getting heated. But what about the white colored coating? When the sunlight is falling on the tin, it is reflecting back, the heat is reflecting back. So that's why what is happening, the water inside the white colored tin container, it is less heated, the temperature will be less. This is difference we can understand by touching the water in both the containers. So here one more thing, if you by this we can understand why we are wearing the dark colored clothes in the winter time and we prefer light colored clothes in the summer time. What will happen? Light colored cotton clothes if you prefer in the summer time, while we are going or walking on the road, the heat is falling on our body. So the clothes, the light colored clothes, they will reflect back the heat. So and it makes our body cool. That much hot we won't feel. But in winter time, we prefer dark and thick clothes. So they make our body to be warm. We'll feel warm and it is comfortable wearing dark color clothes in the winter and light color clothes in the summer time. And one more thing, the woolen clothes, they keep us warm in the winter. Why do you know? It won't absorb that much heat. So wool is a fiber and it is a poor conductor. It won't allow the heat to the outside. So generally our body is having some heat, some temperature. When we wear woolen clothes, the heat from our body, it won't transmit through the woolen clothes outside. Wool is not a conductor, so it won't transmit the heat. So it will still make the heat inside the woolen clothes only. So that's like that we can feel warm in the winter time by wearing the woolen clothes. So that is the reason. Suppose you are given the choice in winter of using either one thick blanket or two thin blankets joined together. What would you prefer? What would you choose? So before choosing them, one thing we have to understand. Woolen thick color blanket, it won't allow the heat to go outside. It maintains the heat inside and makes warm. But what about the two thin blankets, one on together? If you place them, it makes some coolness. Why? Because the air will be trapped in between the two thin blankets. So that makes it doesn't make warm to our body. So that is the reason we have to choose thick blanket, one thick blanket in the winter season. So children, from this chapter, the chapter was completed. From this chapter we have discussed about the Celsius scale. The temperature unit is the Celsius and it is denoted with degree C. That what we have discussed in the previous classes. And about conduction we have discussed. It is one of the mode of heat transfer, and the material conductors which will allow heat to pass through them is called conductor, and which will not allow heat to pass through them is called insulators. That we discussed here. And about the convection also, the mode of heat transfer in the medium liquid and gases also heat transfer, that we call as convection. And about the insulators already discussed, and some radiation, heat of mode transfer, radiation we have discussed, and land breeze, sea breeze. Do you know from where if breeze comes from the sea we call as sea breeze? The breeze which comes from the land is called land breeze. So that what we have discussed here. And about temperature and the thermometer. So these are the keywords, these are the topics which we have discussed in this chapter here. So the chapter was completed. So children, from the starting to the ending of this chapter, read thoroughly, make it understand more and more, and some important points also there. What we have learned, those also you read, and after giving the CW, you can complete that in your CW. Children, after not only reading, writing, but the important points should be kept in your mind. You have to maintain that knowledge and improve your knowledge by reading. Okay, thank you for watching this video.